Well, Susanna, thank you so much for welcoming us here in this beautiful Kidogo center. Can you please, for the audience, briefly introduce yourself?
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you for having us here. My name is Susan Mtana, currently working for Kidogo as the Senior Finance and Operations Manager. I've been with Kidogo for the last 3.5 years, and yeah, I'm happy to be part of this great journey of transforming the childcare space.
That's fantastic. So what is Kidogo, in just a few words? What is the mission and the purpose behind the company?
I'll say in Kidogo we imagine a world where all children, regardless of where they're born, they have the opportunity to reach their full potential. And in this case, you see, like, we are mostly based in the low-income communities. So in this case, we offer quality and affordable childhood care and services, and also working with the women entrepreneurs to ensure that we improve the quality. Yeah.
So if we talk about the child development, until the age of 8, a child goes through the most pivotal growth phase of his life. 90% of the brain of a child is developed until the age of 5. So cognitive skills are developed at this age. Self-esteem, curiosity. Can you tell us more about it? How does it work, basically?
Okay, I'll say this, as you've mentioned, 90% of brain development takes place in the early years. And in this case, Kidogo comes in to just give the child experiences, just giving the child meaningful experiences that will have lifelong impact. So you find like how you interact with the child will have a long-lasting impression. In this case now, Kidogo, we use the play-based learning. We just ensure there is the nurturing care, the responsive caregiving that we give unto them, because there was a research that was done and it showed that Kidogo kids actually outperform the other children. So in this case, we are looking at the holistic development, and it's really important.
Well, thank you so much. Now, until the age of 8, a child goes through the most pivotal growth phase of his life. Can you tell us more about it? I think that 90% until 5, 90% of the brain development occurs. How does that happen, and why is it so crucial to really be mindful of the development of a child at this age?
Okay, thank you for that. So I'll say, like, apart from the genes,
yes,
you find like the experiences, the childhood experiences that a child will have long-lasting impact, and hence they also affect to a greater extent the brain development. Also, the nurturing care and things about nutrition, are they well-fed or will they be malnourished? And the other bit could be about infections and such. So you find like Kidogo comes in through our health, nutrition, and wash intervention, and giving a child the experiences that they need. So in this case, our approach is based on the play-based approach. So in this case, just ensuring that we incorporate play, and not just at the centers. We want to extend it to the parents at home, that they can engage the child, that it can be two-way. And also that boosts the confidence of the child. It can boost the language, how they can communicate, how they can relate in a setting, how they can problem solve. And you find like these are key functions that a child needs as they grow.
Yeah. Thank you very much. About 350 million children still lack access to quality and affordable education. 40% of children lack access to quality and affordable childcare, and most of them are located in low-income or middle-income countries and communities. Why is that, and what are the biggest challenges around quality and affordable childcare?
Okay, so I'll say there is more of a socioeconomic problem, because you find majority of people live in maybe between $1 and $5 a day.
Yeah.
It's more of getting casual labor, and they cannot maybe sustain to go and pay for quality childcare. So in this case, the options they have in the settings that they're in is whereby it's either you lock the child, you go look for that casual job. It could be a job, maybe a manual job, to go and wash clothes for like 3 hours and come back. And at times someone might go out and come back with nothing. So you find like, first of all, there's the affordability of care. They cannot afford that. The other bit is either they have an in-house nanny to take care of the child. In that case, they cannot even survive themselves. So that is not an option. The other bit is either they pull an older sibling from school to look after that. So that really is tied to the household income, whereby you find not everyone can prioritize childcare, because they need to meet their basic needs first. Yeah,
that makes sense. If we focus on Nairobi, there's a great problem around childcare as well, where most of the working moms, they actually leave their children with very affordable childcare, but often there's poor nutrition, hygiene, there's very little stimulation. Again, can you please tell us more about how it works usually in traditional childcare, and the main challenges for the moms and maybe the siblings that are involved with that?
Actually, that brings me back to the Kidogo founding story, yes, whereby our founder was going through one of the communities called Mlolongo, and she was doing some research. Then they went into a room. It had a caregiver inside there. It was just a woman. She didn't know whether it was a caregiver. Then it was too dark. Children were just sleeping. Sometimes children are dragged in these centers so that the caregiver can do other things. And you find like there was no stimulation, and she even trampled on her baby. And when she asked, she was told like, this is a child care center and parents are paying something to have the child remain here. So we say that first 1,000 days of a child are the most important. Yeah. And you find like these women, they need to also be economically empowered to go and work. So that is where Kidogo came in terms of, can we offer quality and affordable childcare at that same $1 a day? So in this case, you find like now we have to ensure there's the safe and stimulating environment, that responsive caregiving and all that, because you find the normal center, it will not be safe. There won't be any responsive caregiving. Like the nanny will abandon the children or drag them so that they can do something else.
And what about the moms and the siblings? How does that impact them in their daily life?
So you find like the easiest way is to pull an older sibling to look after the child, and you find like now adolescents will drop out of school, yeah, in order to take care of the child. Yeah. The child might not reach their full milestones because they didn't get proper care, yeah, or maybe the neglect. Assume maybe a teenager or maybe a 10-year-old girl, for example. They, yeah, don't know like how can I well take care of a baby. Yeah. So you find that can have the regressive effect on the child. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Now, let's talk about the solution that has been designed at Kidogo. You've mentioned it, but if you could maybe sum it up. Again, what is Kidogo? What is the Kidogo way? And how do you empower women, mamapreneurs, to lead the way? And yeah, please tell us more about it.
Yeah, so I like to mention that the Kidogo is aligned to the world-based nurturing care framework. So what we offer is we pride because we brought learning through play. Yes. Just the other days when the government adopted the CBC, competence-based curriculum, which encourages play. Yeah. So in Kenya context, I'll say years ago, play was not a way of learning. Yeah, play was not a way or a means to learn. So in this case, our play-based learning, we ensure that we have activities whereby a child guided, like the child decides like, this is what I want to do. Maybe there's some blocks, they can just go and try, be dramatic, be playful with that. And some play activities, they're guided by the caregivers, others are directed. So we bring all this because we want to see the child like ensuring that they develop those skills, the cognitive skills, socio-emotional. Also beyond play, we have the responsive caregiving whereby we ensure we train our caregivers on positive discipline. How do you ensure that you instill discipline to a baby? Yeah. And also the other bit to mention, we have health, nutrition and wash interventions, because you find like if a child suffers stunting or wasting nutritionally at the age of 0 to 3, like it can have long-time effects to their growth and development. So ensuring that they are dewormed, they are given supplements, those who are malnourished, and giving the linkages to the different government facilities. Yeah. Also, the other bit is parental engagement. Some parents feel like once I bring my child to the center or to the mamapreneur center, that's it. But we show them like learning begins at home. You can sing, you can turn tech with the child.
Engagement is really important from
yes.
As well.
So in that case that we bring that, and also just ensuring that the spaces are safe and stimulating. Yeah. And you can ask like, what do you mean safe and stimulating, yet the contexts are not so safe? So in this case, we're like, let's just look at what we have. How can we make that iron sheet room to be safe? So maybe we need to add some bit of plywood, maybe some wall characters, just to ensure the environment is safe for them.
So you take time to basically have this conversation with the parents and so on. So when does that happen? When they pick up the kids, when they drop them, you take time to have this conversation, or how does that happen?
Yeah, at the point of picking and dropping, like for example, when a parent brings a child to our center, there'll be something like health check. Is the baby okay? How did the need? Does she play at home and such? And also we also organize for parental engagement days. Maybe it's on a Saturday. We go to a community. We call the parents together. We talk to them maybe on a specific issue. We help them making materials using locally available resources, because that is one thing, like you don't want them to have the mentality that I need to have a toy bought from a shop.
Yeah,
you can use
really
a bottle,
well.
put some little stones and get a shaker.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the other bit that we add to, that is part of Kidogo way, is to the mamapreneurs. You find some of them were just receiving children without thinking of it as a business.
Yeah.
So they used to just do it for the sake of it. So bringing that business mindset and enabling them to just run a thriving business at the end of the day. Because we need them to thrive, for our children to have centers.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So basically, how do you find these mamapreneurs, and how do you make sure that they're delivering, that they're basically doing what you expect them to do? So you mentioned ongoing training, but basically, how do you make sure to identify the most relevant mamapreneurs? And can you please elaborate on the ongoing support that you provide?
So what we normally do is we go to a community, we scout, then we just get to understand, okay, do we have caregivers here?
Yeah.
And like our program, we have different kinds of caregivers we take into account. They're the home-based. They're the ones who just receive children into their home. And they're the ones who open a center. They pay rent to a space and receive children there. And they're caregivers who offer childcare services attached to a school. So all those form a pool. So in this case, we go, we map, we get to understand how much are they charging, any educational qualification they have, and whether. So at that point, once we get that information, we come back and now plan to go and tell them like more about Kidogo.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is what Kidogo does. Will you be interested? And majority of them, they're really interested. I'll tell you, in some communities that we've really worked on, word went round from our champions and others came. We had like a waiting list. So that is how we just go and identify, and somebody with that passion, we just bring them on board. And in terms of what we offer them is we have the 3 months upfront quality improvement program.
It's a training program, basically.
Yeah, it's a training program on the basic ECD topics, for example, or even business and such. And once they go through that, at that point, we also do quality assessments just to see the before Kidogo and after. After the 3 months now, we transition them to our ongoing relationship, like they become our franchises. So at that point, we continue giving them ongoing quality assurance, ongoing training, and also we have some package at that point of them becoming members.
Facility renovation as well, and learning materials.
Learning materials, health, nutrition, and wash, maybe like a drinking water container, hand washing station, maybe things like to do with fire safety and such. First aid kit, I mean.
Of course. Now, basically, concretely, what happens in a classroom? So you mentioned the most important points of the Kidogo way, but concretely, do you have any examples of what happened in the classroom to achieve that, to achieve the Kidogo way?
So I'll say like we have like something called a daily routine.
Yeah.
So whereby it's like more of a guiding that you go to a Kidogo center, like children know like, okay, when we go when we reach school, maybe we'll do some little circle time. Maybe after there we'll go potty time. So there is like a sequence of activity, maybe small group activity, large group activity, there is napping time. So we have that. We give that to our caregivers, we train them, and also we help them build their creativity so that they can also come up with ways to engage the children. Mostly, basically, people know that if you're to engage a child, you just maybe singing. But maybe there are other ways. You can just take a basin, put blocks or objects in there. Let the child maybe try to build, to sort out and such.
And they're free to basically let themselves be attracted to what they can potentially be passionate about, if it's construction, if it's singing, if it's... So you have all these elements in the classroom, and you empower the kids to basically do whatever they feel like is more relevant for them, right?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Now, on the side of the mamapreneurs, basically, what's in it for them, and how do they contribute to Kidogo to be able to be part of the franchise? How does it work? I think it's a membership.
Yeah, so how it works, first of all, let me say, like, our program is not for free.
Yes,
because you want
course.
them to commit. So once they come to the enrollment workshop, there's a little fee they pay, and then during the quality improvement program, the 3 months, there's also some little fee.
Yeah.
And then at the point of them,
Little fee. How much?
okay, how much? I'll say like $5 during training, $5 a month.
Yeah.
Then after training, we have different, after they become franchisees, we have different packages.
Yes.
So they pay between $5 to $15 depending on the
Per month.
Yeah, per month, depending whether it is a school base or a home base or a center based.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also you find some people have maybe multi-center. We have women who have grown from one center to another. So like all those we take into consideration. And then in this case, we are there to offer them ongoing training, ongoing quality assurance to ensure that they still meet the Kidogo minimum quality standards.
Yeah.
So after the quality improvement program, that is one key thing that somebody has to achieve before they become franchisee. And we are good enough, we give people a grace period. You might find like out of all those, maybe the minimum mark, somebody has missed one. It's something that can be worked on for like 2 weeks and then they become franchisees.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Now, as part of the material that you provide the mamapreneurs with, there's the Kidogo or Mamapreneur app. Can you please tell me more about it? Okay,
so about the app, actually it helps the mama to track the attendance of the child. So they'll have like the data, the biodata of the child, the parents, the basic information, and also it has a portion. I'll say that's the best one to me in terms of tracking their finances. Like in income, okay, this child has paid weekly, or they have given me this fee for a day. It's a daily fee, maybe others it's a monthly fee, so they can record that. At the end of the day, and anytime they do an expense, they can input, like, oh, I've bought vegetables, I've paid for fuel. Yeah. And at the end of the day or the week, you can see, like, this was the income, these are the expenses. Like, in just simple terms, somebody can see whether they have a deficit or a surplus. And going back to the children, if I understood well, each child has its own profile. So the teachers, the facilitators, the mamapreneurs can basically have a look at any given time at a child's profile, and there's a bunch of information they have access to. What are these kind of information, and why is it useful for teachers and mamapreneurs? Okay, you find like there are things like, for example, if you are to do like the growth monitoring process, you need to know maybe the date of birth of the child, so that as you measure the mark, that is the height, the weight, and all that, it corresponds, so that you know whether the child is underweight or is growing well. Yes. So such kind of information is important, and also just getting to see, is this child to track the progress of the child. And maybe to mention, we have a monitoring and evaluation team that also uses the ages and stages questionnaire to collect data in terms of the growth of the child, so that we can tell how are our children doing in terms of cognitive skills, in terms of fine motor skills, the gross. And the teacher is in charge of writing everything down. Okay. Thank you very much. Now, let's talk about the impact. What is Kidogo's impact in numbers and qualitatively speaking as well? So we talked about the qualitative side of the impact, but maybe you can sum this up and also add numbers in your answer. Yeah, so I'll say like it's been a journey for the last few years. So right now we have a network of 538 women entrepreneurs that is who are already franchised, and we have another 345 who are completing the quality improvement program, and we hope to franchise them soon. And also in terms of there was a study that was done and it shown like at least our Kidogo kids, once they transit to school, they outperform the other children, at least in terms of social, emotional, and executive functions. Also, the other bit is there was a parents' perception survey that was conducted, and it showed that parents have shifted their perception about quality. So they can differentiate. The feedback is really important as well. Yes, so they can differentiate between a quality center, a good center, or a good childcare center that offers quality, and a non-Kidogo center. So the other bit is in terms of stunting and wasting. You find like we've managed to also reduce that. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, let's go back to the impact on the moms, on the siblings, on the child. Can you very briefly sum this up? Like how is this a game changer for them? We say like we have a win-winning strategy for everyone. We say our program is good for the child, good for the woman, good for the parent.
Yes.
So for the child, they have an opportunity to reach their full potential
Yes.
after the Kidogo interventions. For the mamapreneur, they can run a thriving business and make meaningful net income per month. And then also we find the parent can have peace of mind as they go to work. And the adolescent kids will stay in school.
In school, yeah. They don't have to take care of their younger siblings.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Last question. How would you define Kidogo in 3 words?
3 words, I'll say these 3 words. We have something called the impact triangle. We all think about offering quality in a sustainable way as we scale. So quality, scalability of operations.
And sustainability. Thank you so much. Do you have any last comments, words, advices for the audience today?
What I'll say is we can't do it alone. We need the government support to ensure that, because like for example in Kenya, pre-primary education begins at the age of 4 years. So if we say brain develops 80% in the early years and first 1,000 days are the most important, this is a really important area for us to also focus on. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you too.